You wake up one morning, and the stiffness is worse than yesterday. Your knees creak. Your fingers feel like rusty hinges. So you do what you've read is healthy. You stir a golden spoonful of turmeric into your morning tea, hoping it'll calm the fire inside your joints. Weeks go by. You wait. But nothing changes. The pain stays. And here's the shocking part. The problem might not be the turmeric. It could be what's sitting right next to it, on your breakfast plate, in your smoothie, or hiding in that so-called healthy snack. What if I told you? Certain everyday foods can cancel out turmeric's healing power. Or worse, they can actually trigger new inflammation, spike your blood sugar, and mess with your gut health. And the truth is, if you're over 50, chances are, you ate at least one of these foods this week. So before you take another sip of that turmeric latte, let's uncover the 8 biggest mistakes people over 50 are making with turmeric. And more importantly, what to do instead to finally get the relief you deserve. But first, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elderly Health Tips to keep these life-changing videos coming your way. And now, let's dive into the 8 foods that actually sabotage the healing power of turmeric. I'm pretty sure number 3 will truly surprise you, because it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Mistake from food 1. Processed dairy products. Let's talk about something you probably have in your fridge right now. Flavored yogurts, non-dairy creamers, sliced cheese, even that fat-free milk you thought was a healthier choice. These are all part of what we call processed dairy, a modern twist on traditional dairy filled with additives, emulsifiers, stabilizers, and often hidden sugars and artificial flavors. Now, here's where it gets serious. As a doctor with over 30 years of clinical experience in aging and nutrition, I've seen this mistake far too often. People over 50, trying to eat healthy, start their day with a turmeric smoothie, then blend it with low-fat yogurt or pour in powdered creamer. But here's what most don't realize. Those processed dairy products can actually block curcumin, the powerful anti-inflammatory compound in turmeric. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that certain casein proteins and emulsifiers, commonly found in processed dairy, bind to curcumin molecules. This binding prevents curcumin from being absorbed into the bloodstream. Let me say that again. Even if you're taking turmeric daily, your body might be getting almost nothing from it, if you're combining it with the wrong type of dairy. I learned this the hard way myself. A few years ago, I had started taking turmeric capsules for my own knee pain, but I also used powdered creamer in my coffee every morning. 3 months went by. No improvement. It wasn't until I read a clinical review from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that it clicked. My own creamer habit was likely blocking the very nutrient I was relying on to ease my joint pain. Once I swapped it out, used black coffee, or added a splash of full-fat natural milk, the change was noticeable within weeks. So how do you know if your dairy is holding you back? Here are some signs to look for. You're using products labeled low-fat, fat-free, or sugar-free. You see ingredients like carrageenan, polysorbate 80, or artificial flavors on the label. The product has a long shelf life, weeks or even months, without refrigeration. Mistake 2. Foods high in vinegar. Let's talk about a sneaky group of foods that often look healthy on the surface, but can silently sabotage your efforts to fight inflammation. I'm talking about vinegar-heavy foods. Think store-bought salad dressings, pickles, ketchup, yellow mustard, even apple cider vinegar. Now, don't get me wrong, vinegar itself isn't always bad. But when you're relying on turmeric to reduce joint pain, and especially if you're over 50, these acidic foods can work against you. Here's what the science tells us. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Food Science and Technology found that high acidity environments, like those created by vinegar, can degrade curcumin, the active healing compound in turmeric. In fact, curcumin begins to break down rapidly at pH levels below 5. Guess where vinegar sits? Around 2 to 3. That means when you drizzle vinegar-based dressing over your turmeric-seasoned salad, or add ketchup to your turmeric roasted veggies, you could be neutralizing the very compound you're trying to absorb. For older adults, this matters even more. As we age, our stomach lining becomes more sensitive to acid. The same vinegar that might benefit a younger person's digestion can trigger bloating, burning, or acid reflux in someone over 60. Here are some red flags to look out for. You experience heartburn shortly after eating salad or condiments. You feel bloated or gassy after meals with pickled or tangy items. You're combining turmeric with vinegar-rich foods and seeing no benefit. So let me ask you this. Does your healthy lunch include a heavy dose of vinegar alongside turmeric? Let's move on to mistake 3, tomatoes. Let's shine a light on a food most of us consider a health staple, the humble tomato. Whether it's in your salad, pasta sauce, or even that glass of tomato juice, tomatoes are everywhere. And yes, they're packed with lycopene, a powerful antioxidant. But here's what most people don't realize, especially those of us over 60 trying to fight inflammation with turmeric. Lycopene and curcumin can actually clash inside your body. According to a 2020 study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry, both lycopene and curcumin require similar metabolic enzymes in the liver, primarily cytochrome P450 enzymes, to be properly processed and absorbed. When consumed together, they compete for the same metabolic pathways, which means the absorption of both compounds drops. This metabolic bottleneck can result in a loss of antioxidant power from both ingredients. I had a patient in his early 70s, George, from Arizona. He was dealing with chronic joint inflammation and had been faithfully taking turmeric capsules for 6 months. But every night, he also enjoyed a hearty bowl of tomato soup, believing it was helping his heart and prostate. After running some lab work and reviewing his supplement plan, I advised him to stagger his tomato-based meals and turmeric supplements, and within weeks, he finally noticed less joint stiffness and better mobility in the mornings. For older adults, this kind of nutrient competition can quietly derail our best efforts. Our digestive and metabolic efficiency naturally decline with age, so strategic food pairing becomes more important than ever. So how do you know if this might be affecting you? Here are a few signs. You take turmeric supplements daily, but notice minimal results. Your meals often include tomato sauce, soup, or raw tomatoes. You feel like both turmeric and tomato-rich foods used to work better for your health than they do now. And now, mistake 4, sugary foods. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous, yet most overlooked enemies of turmeric: sugar. Not just the spoonful you add to coffee, but the hidden sugars packed into breakfast cereals, flavored yogurts, pastries, smoothie blends, and sweetened beverages. As a physician who works with aging adults every day, I can tell you this: sugar quietly undoes everything turmeric is trying to do inside your body. Here's why. According to a 2019 review published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, high-sugar diets trigger chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body, especially in the joints, blood vessels, and gut lining. At the same time, excess sugar disrupts the gut microbiome and damages the intestinal barrier, reducing your body's ability to absorb nutrients like curcumin, the active compound in turmeric. So even if you're taking turmeric every day, mixing it into smoothies or capsules, but pairing it with sugar-heavy foods, you may be canceling out its anti-inflammatory benefits. It's like trying to put out a fire with one hand, while pouring gasoline with the other. Are you starting your day with granola, flavored yogurt, or sweetened tea? Do your smoothies come with syrup or sugary fruit juice? Here are some red flags. You feel tired or bloated after meals. You crave something sweet even after eating. You're taking turmeric regularly, but see little to no benefit. So, could sugar be sabotaging your turmeric? Mistake 5. Chili peppers and overly spicy foods. Let's talk about a spicy mistake that many people, especially older adults, don't even realize they're making. You might be adding turmeric to your meals for its powerful anti-inflammatory effects. But if you're also loading your plate with hot peppers, chili powder, or fiery sauces, you could be setting yourself up for digestive distress, especially on an empty stomach. Capsaicin, the compound that gives chili peppers their heat, is biologically active, just like curcumin in turmeric. But here's the problem. When consumed together, especially without food, they can overstimulate the stomach lining, leading to burning pain, nausea, acid reflux, or even cramps. A 2018 review in the World Journal of Gastroenterology confirmed that both capsaicin and curcumin, while beneficial in the right amounts, can cause mucosal irritation in sensitive individuals when used in excess or improperly combined. This is even more pronounced in older adults, whose digestive systems tend to be more fragile and less tolerant to extremes. Let me give you a real example. One of my patients, Mr. Harris, 72, from Sacramento, was trying to manage his inflammation naturally. He loved turmeric, but also had a long-time habit of eating spicy Tex-Mex food for lunch. He'd often sprinkle cayenne pepper into his turmeric tea as well, thinking more spice meant more healing. Unfortunately, it only made his acid reflux worse, to the point where he had to start medication. After adjusting his meals, separating spicy dishes from turmeric intake, and always taking turmeric with a small snack, his digestive issues improved significantly. So what should you watch out for? Here are some clues. You experience a burning sensation or stomach upset shortly after eating turmeric. You frequently combine turmeric with hot sauces, chili oil, or spicy soups. You take turmeric first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, followed by spicy food later. Mistake 6. Alcoholic beverages. Let's talk about a common habit that may quietly cancel out one of turmeric's most powerful benefits. And that's alcohol. While a glass of wine or beer might seem harmless, combining alcohol with turmeric can actually place a toxic burden on your liver, especially for those of us over 60. Here's why. Turmeric is widely praised for its liver protective effects, but that protection only works when the liver isn't overwhelmed. According to a 2021 study in the Journal of Hepatology, both alcohol and curcumin are metabolized through the same liver enzyme systems, particularly the cytochrome P450 family. When consumed together, they compete for detoxification pathways, causing a buildup of metabolic byproducts and reducing turmeric's ability to protect liver cells. Worse yet, alcohol itself increases oxidative stress and inflammation in the liver. So instead of turmeric helping you heal, it's stuck fighting a losing battle. Older adults are more vulnerable here. As we age, our liver function naturally declines. Add in long-term medication use or underlying conditions like fatty liver disease, and the risk becomes even higher. What seems like a harmless drink could be the very thing undoing your body's healing process. So, how do you know if this might be affecting you? Here are a few red flags. You're taking turmeric daily, but see no improvement in energy or inflammation. You regularly drink wine, beer, or spirits, even in moderate amounts. Your liver enzymes are elevated, or your doctor has mentioned liver concerns. Let's move on to mistake 7. Overly salty foods. Let's talk about something that hides in plain sight. Salt. More specifically, the kind of salt overload we get from processed meats, canned soups, frozen meals, pickled snacks, and restaurant takeout. If you're over 60 and trying to support your heart and joints with turmeric, but still consuming salty foods regularly, you might be unknowingly undoing turmeric's benefits. According to the American Heart Association, excess sodium causes the body to retain water, which leads to higher blood pressure and increased vascular inflammation. On the other hand, turmeric, through its active compound curcumin, works to reduce inflammation and support healthy blood flow. When these two forces collide, your body ends up in a tug-of-war, and turmeric often loses. I remember one of my patients, Linda, 71, from Ohio. She was faithfully taking turmeric supplements for joint pain and heart health. But she also loved canned soups and salty crackers, sometimes 3 or 4 servings a day. She couldn't understand why her blood pressure kept creeping up, or why her ankles were always swollen. Once we reduced her sodium intake and replaced salty snacks with fresh options, the results were noticeable. Lower blood pressure, less fluid retention, and a big improvement in mobility. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at filtering out sodium. That means even a small amount of extra salt can have a much bigger impact than it did when we were younger. And for those with hypertension or cardiovascular disease, the risk only multiplies. So what are the signs that salt might be interfering with turmeric? Here's what to look for. Swollen feet or fingers after meals. Blood pressure readings that stay elevated despite lifestyle changes. Regular intake of processed or packaged foods alongside turmeric use. Now let me ask you, have you ever thought about how much sodium is in your healthy meals? Now comes mistake 8, raw vegetables. Let's talk about something most people consider healthy, even essential, raw leafy greens. But here's the twist. If you're over 60 and using turmeric for its anti-inflammatory or antimicrobial effects, eating large amounts of raw vegetables high in natural nitrates, like mustard greens or raw water spinach, might actually reduce turmeric's effectiveness. How so? According to a 2020 study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, natural nitrates in raw vegetables can chemically interact with phenolic compounds, like curcumin, leading to structural changes that neutralize its anti-inflammatory and antibacterial activity. This means that even if you're using turmeric regularly, its healing power could be significantly weakened by what's sitting on the same plate. I remember a patient of mine, Carol, 74, from Portland. She followed every health trend, made turmeric smoothies, took daily supplements, and ate giant raw salads every lunch. But she came in complaining about persistent joint stiffness and recurring minor infections. After reviewing her food journal and lab markers, it became clear that her high-nitrate raw greens, especially when combined with turmeric, were likely contributing to the problem. When we made a simple switch, lightly steaming her greens and separating turmeric intake from nitrate-heavy meals, she saw real improvement within weeks. As we get older, the body becomes more sensitive to chemical interactions, and nutrient synergy becomes more important than ever. So how can you tell if this might be affecting you? Here are a few clues. You consume raw greens daily, especially mustard greens, spinach, or water spinach. You use turmeric supplements, but notice little change in inflammation or immunity. You've had lingering minor infections or gut discomfort despite a clean diet. Now you understand. The problem isn't with turmeric, but with the foods you pair it with. From spicy dishes, nitrate-rich raw vegetables, to sugar, alcohol, or overly salty foods. All of these can silently reduce the healing benefits of turmeric. But a small change can make a big difference. Take a look at your plate this week. Try adjusting one habit, and observe how your body reacts. If this video was helpful to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Elderly Health Tips channel. Your support is the motivation for us to continue bringing you scientific health guides, helping you live healthier, longer, and with better quality of life.